I think I've got an addiction. It's Wednesday, and that means it's time for Warhammer Wednesday. And my camera will not focus. Oh, almost whoa, camera. Did I confuse you? Did I confuse you? It's Wednesday, and what that means is it's Warhammer Wednesday. And today is going to be a bit of self-indulgence, a little bit of, well, look at my big old army. I'm Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet, and I often swear. A couple of my comments recently on my Warhammer videos have been, well, this wasn't suitable for my children! So if I say some naughty words from here on out, you've been warned. So you can click off now. I'm going to say words like fuck. All swearing aside, I'm Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet, and today is Warhammer Wednesday. Every Wednesday on my channel, I put out a video talking about something within Warhammer that I enjoy or am excited about. That can range from things like prediction videos for the future, to showcase of what I've been up to in the hobby, to talking about new releases, or just showing off stuff that I love, reviewing models, just fucking loving the hobby. Today is going to be a showcase of what I currently have from my Blood Angels army, as you can see in the background. I did some artsy-fartsy shots in a little bit, and I'll talk you through the collection. I started playing back in June. My first Warhammer Wednesday video was June 10th, a week after I started. So I started at the beginning. I'm just over a week over 5 months into the hobby, and I have gone balls deep. I have taken my balls out and I have dipped them into the hobby, and I have not removed them since. This video isn't to show off. It's not to be like, wow, look at all the cool shit. Well, it is to look at all the cool shit I've got and the effort and time I put into building and painting it. But the point is, I sold a load of magic cards to get all this sort of stuff, and I'm lucky enough that this can be part of the job that I do, which is just talking about nerd shit on the internet. So I'm not here to like rub it in anyone's face. I'm just super in love with Warhammer as a hobby, and Blood Angels was my childhood love, and that's why I'm doing this video. And a lot of people also asked to see what I had and wanted to see what I had, because I was talking about how I had accrued quite a lot of models in a short space of time. All that out of the way, some of you clicked just to see the army. Let's get on and look at the army. Some say it's an addiction, a sickness, that I am perhaps addicted to plastic crack, and they wouldn't be wrong. So come with me as I explore the depths of this addiction. I'm going to get some closer up shots shortly to show off the army a bit more and talk about what I've got and why and stuff like that. But here's the long shot, and I'm asking you all a question. How many points do you think are here? I might have bugged up this engagement farming by telling you how many points are in the army, in the title, or I might just put like 10k plus. So it's over 10k. I asked some people in my Discord, a couple of you, including Buckety Boy, thought that this might only be like 3.5, 5.5. I mean, it's obviously more than 2 armies in a 2,000 point game, so that was not the best guess. Some might say that was a really shit guess. So this is my current collection of Blood Angels. Everything that is built and is primed. There is a lot of grey plastic too, maybe another 1,000 points worth of grey plastic and unbuilt things. But this is everything built and primed. Having grey plastic anywhere in my home, like especially on my shelves, makes me feel very uncomfortable. So I go out of my way to make sure I build stuff and prime it. And bearing in mind that building stuff is by far my least favourite thing to do in this hobby. So this is 203 models. There is 47 unpainted or unfinished models. Like even these things here, these eliminators that have got a bit of paint on them, they're not finished in my opinion. They're not playable on a tabletop. Well, no, that's not true. Everything here is playable on a tabletop, right? Everything here is, I would happily play in a friendly game with a mate. But if I'm going around the game store, I try to ensure that most of my stuff is painted up as comprehensively as I can. Not that I go to the game store anymore, because we're currently in lockdown too. So 203 models, 47 unpainted. That means the army is, looking at my notes here, 76% finished, which is way better than I thought it was. Obviously not including the fact that there are some unpainted models. I've got some more Terminators upstairs. I've got some Incursors, I think, and a few other bits and bobs. Apart from that, yeah, it's kind of getting there. Although I have more coming in the post. I've got an ATV on the way. I'm probably going to ask for some for Christmas from my wife and family. Yeah. Now, some of you might be asking why Blood Angels. Well, they were my childhood army. They were the army that I collected as a kid. So I wanted to collect them again when I came back to the hobby. I almost settled on Eldar,
I'm kind of glad I didn't because, well, I would have just aren't as cool as Blood Angels, right? And also from a rules perspective, playing Space Marines is definitely an advantage, right? That's the funny thing about all this. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get a nice steady shot, but I haven't got one of those rotato steady hand cam things yet. That's my next pickup to improve quality of content on the channel. Before I go through some individual particular models, I'm going to talk about like a few overall things about this collection so far. So it's 203 models. It's 11,280 points of Warhammer in WYSIWYG, if we play it exactly as seen, which includes, before I knew the rules, some of these Death Company have Inferno pistols on them, so I just wanted to vary them up, but in reality maybe that was just annoying to do, because I like to keep armies and squads simple now. That includes, like, I don't have sergeants or anything with power fists or power swords correctly yet. There's a lot of WYSIWYGing going on that was from when I didn't really know how the rules of Warhammer worked. For those of you that don't play points, you play power level, that's 587 power level for this army. 587. I mean, 2,000 or so of this army is in HQs alone. So, yeah, I like single character models. So I'm a Blood Angels player and collector, and I'm missing some key characters at the moment, okay? So there's some things that I still need to pick up, which I'm going to talk through now. So let's go through. So I've got Indomitus in here, I've got one from a captain, I've got my shieldy man captain there, lieutenant there as well. I've got the Blade Guard veteran, Blade Guard Ancient. I painted him Bone, because he's the master of bones. He's carrying some fucking bones, he's painted bones. And then I've got my Blade Guard veterans too. I've painted these gold, okay? The reason I've painted these gold is because the veterans in the codices of the Blood Angels get golden helmets. That's captains, lieutenants, and veterans. And I also put them on sergeants. That's why they're gold. So that's my Blade Guard sort of like itinerary there from itinerary? Group selection, I don't fucking know, from Indomitus. We've then got some squads of Assault Marines, or Assault Intercessors should I say, not Marines, Assault Intercessors, which are very good in the Blood Angels army because the Blood Angels get +1 to wound, so these things wound most things quite easily. And they get a bonus attack from turn 3 onwards, which makes them into absolute, like, windmills of attacks. Like a blender, almost. They will shred through most infantry. We've then got some squads of intercessors that I finished. These were some of the first models that I painted. That's why they look fucking terrible in places. I was happy with my first models, but I'm not happy for them now. Yeah, he is not good. But there you see the golden helmet motif as well. Continue on with the troops. We have some more intercessors that are not finished. These were an eBay find that I still need to finish after blocking out the black. Still got to get them finished. There's also my first power weapon sergeant over there as well for those intercessors. Then we've got some Reavers that I thought were troops when I first got into the game, when I picked up an E together set, and turns out they fucking weren't, so they have not been played. Very few models on this table have not been played at all across Tabletop Simulator and real games. Reavers I've not played yet because they're kind of shit. I was really hoping they get the troop treatment of the News Codex, but they didn't. These black troops here, you might think these are a Death Company. They are not. They are infiltrators. I decided that the Phobos armor infiltrators, that are the forward scouting troops of the Space Marine forces, would wear armor that allows them to be stealthy. Therefore, you know, hide them either with camo or with dark colours against enemy eyesight. So my Phobos infiltrators are all in black armor. I will continue to paint any more that I get in black armor. That includes these and these. This dude is the Phobos Librarian. He's just going to be in very similar dark colours, probably blues and blacks. This guy over here, the Phobos Lieutenant from the same Vanguard box, I'm probably going to paint quite a bit of black onto him. So he's going to be red, but because he needs to have his insignia and be ornate and all that sort of stuff, but he'll be darker in colour too. I also speed painted these, the full 10. I gave myself an hour and a half, I'd spray them black and I just dry brush them like quite liberally, and then lead belchers, some silver, some reds, some whites, and jobs are good'un. Jobs are good'un. Formerly troops, we had my very first scout squad that I painted up. These guys are in snow camo because, well, originally, I say snow camo, snow environment. Originally, all my bases were going to be varied across the 10,000 points or whatever I was building because I didn't want to do that many men, and troops, and soldiers, and eventually women as well, in the same basing style. However, I've now decided that actually the grey sludge, urban decay, with brick walls and damaged bits of environment on the bases and stuff like that, that's where I want to go. I want my army to be consistent across the basing. So these guys stand out like a sore thumb. However, on top of troops, which these no longer are, these are elites, so I'll probably never play them anymore because scouts suck. I have this army over here, or I say army, this patrol, this captain, a tactical squad with a missile launcher and a flamer, and an old school Dread with a multi-melter. These were given to me by a viewer called AppleBN on Twitch, who's also a frequenter of the game store over in Winchester, who I will one day hope to get to play a game of Commander against. They said they didn't play Warhammer as much, or if at all anymore, and sent me a load of cool stuff, including some Sanguinary Guard and some Dark Angel stuff and things. These will eventually have red shoulder pads on the right hand shoulder to denote that they are part of Blood Angels, but I'm going to keep them in this black and white snow carrier thing and make them like the Snow Patrol. I'm going to make not the band Snow Patrol because they fucking suck, but make the bases snow as well. So I end up with a small snow like detachment, including these guys, this chaplain over here that I inexplicably made snow based, and of course the scouts that I mentioned over. Rounding out the troops, we have this tactical squad over here in a Rhino, and they've got a plasma cannon and a plasma pistol on the sergeant, and they are, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, they are grossly miscoloured compared to the rest of the army. They are almost orange in their colouring, because I got those second-hand pre-painted. Everything I've shown so far I've painted myself. They stand out like a sore thumb, and this is one of the things you can learn from my building of an army, is that buying second-hand, especially with something that's so colour-coded like Marines, you've got to be careful you don't just get something that doesn't even fit in terms of colour scheme. I still play with them. They'll do for now. It allowed me to get some more troop choices without having to paint a load more infantry, which is my least favourite thing to paint. But yeah, I'll be replacing them eventually. I'm not replacing them. Adding to them with a tactical squad eventually when I have the time, energy or effort to do so. So that's the troops, that's all my characters. So I've got my captain and his lieutenant though in the same golden veteran armour of the other Blade Guard vets, which is a consistent theme I'm going to have with my veterans in this army. Over here we have one finished Primaris lieutenant, which might be my favourite like singular model in terms of paint job I've done. I'm very proud of this guy. He's my latest character. I did the basing as well with Cork. I think he's incredibly well painted for my standards even. I'll probably look back on this in 6 months and think he was terrible, but I'm very happy with how he turned out. Alongside that lieutenant, we've got 2 more captains here, and a captain in Terminator armour, 3 more lieutenants, a Reaver, a Phobos, and another Primaris lieutenant. This guy is not finished, but his basing, in my opinion, looks pretty good. So I just need to get around to actually painting him up and then gluing him on his base. Let's go through some more characters. We've got the Sanguinor here, a custom kit-bashed Sanguinor. Let me just grab that bad boy over here. His wings actually magnetised on, so don't worry, that's where they're wobbling around. He is a kit-bashed, a converted Sanguinor. The reason being that the actual Sanguinor model, that maybe I'll show on screen now if I remember to do it and don't get lazy in editing, kind of sucks. So I took a Stormcast Eternal selection of stuff. I took a Sanguinary Guard kit, which is where the helmet and the sword and one of the shoulder pads comes from. And I took the Blood Angels upgrade kit, which is where the chest piece comes from. And the Stormcast was like the Stormcast Luminor, no, Stormcast Knight Aslor or something, to get this like ribbon thing, to get these wings. And I made my own Sanguinor, which is pretty cool because his new rules are really cool in the index. It allows them to drop in and wreck people who've charged you as strategic reserves. My very first object source lighting there, the blue hue on the brick wall beneath him on his base. His base is too big though. I just made him and built him as he was, and then I realised afterwards, again this is before I really knew what the hell I was doing in terms of rules as well, but his base is too big. So I have to talk with my opponents in friendly games and talk about maybe shaving half an inch off his auras and stuff. Not that I think does he have an aura now? I can't even remember. And just talk that through with my opponent. And I need to get an actual Sanguinor for if I ever want to play with a tournament, I guess. No Sanguinor would be complete without some Sanguinary Guard. There they are. I've got Sanguinary Ancient, which is currently garbage in the index. Hopefully the book coming out in December will fucking fix that. And 4 of my beloved Sanguinary Guard here as well, who are all like on these bases with stones from my actual garden, which is nice. They're in the gold as well, which denotes the veterans. Behind them you can see the golden command Razorback, which is actually going to be for Tycho and his like cohort. Not that I've got a cohort, I probably need to get a actual like firstborn lieutenant and some company vets to go with him. That's more of a, not a vanity project, but like kind of a flavour project, because I don't think Tycho is even, he's anti-orc, but speaking of old school characters that are good though, here's Dante. I'm kind of happy with his paint job. Let's have a look at it a bit closer. He's kind of a beast under the new index at 170 points, I think he is. He's the chapter master with the jump packs, so he can move around the board, he can like fly alongside other fast-moving units which will come to shortly. He can like accompany Dreadnoughts and stuff. He's got this like Infernus pistol as well and a decent gun and yada yada yada. He's just quite the beat stick. Gives you an extra CP, I think, or gives you a free stratagem, one of the two. He's really cool. He's always been cool though. I've always liked Dante. And then Dante's best buddy is going to be Mephiston. Now I own 2 of these, and I'll explain why. The one on the left is the first character I ever painted. And then you're going to think, oh, the one on the right is the one that he painted as godly. No, it's not. Let me explain. So this is Mephiston. I painted him. I was very proud of him when I'd done him. I did think he looked very pale. I'm now very unproud. Not unproud, sorry, but like his shoulder pad could be better. His backpack could be better. I think people, when they first saw it, complimented me a lot because people are just very positive on the internet about painting in Warhammer, which is nice. Which is a weird thing because the internet's it's dark and full of terrors. But the cape looks really good for my first attempt at a cape, I think. Like really good for the first attempt at a cape, if I'm honest about it. So I think it really carries the rest of the model. And I put a lot of attention to those that chest piece. This one here was a gift from a friend and patron and fellow content creator called That Mr. Shy. I'll link it to a video in the cards in the description. He is a Warhammer painter now, full-time. I'm making content and doing commission painting, so I should not focus on the cape, I should focus on the face. If you want to get a model painted by him, he is open for commissions, I believe. And he's very, very good. He's got quite a dark, grimdark style. Like his models tend to come out quite dark, which is not a criticism. It's more an observation of like how his painting is done. It's really interesting though to see a professional painter compared to my first character painted model. It really is. To see like how there's so much definition in that Mr. Shirley's one thanks to the use of shades and shades mainly. Shades and highlights, right? And the bringing the contrast back and stuff. Yeah, that Mr. Shirley's Mephiston makes mine look silly, but you know what? I got a soft spot for my one because that was my first character. Right, let's go around this side. What have we got over here? We've got some fucking aggressors. My first 3 aggressors that I painted up. I'm really happy with their bases. They've got like this like slightly burnt umber look. Bricks and barbed wire and stuff like that. They're the other 4 that I will get around to painting one day, but they're just not really much of a unit in 40k at the moment. I don't think I want to play them with, like, I don't know, Terminators with Thunderhammers. Then we've got the Vanguard vets in the back there. These were an eBay rescue that weren't painted up, so I've got them golden helmeted and ready to go. 4 dudes with hammers and 1 sergeant with the power fist, which is also a weird thing. I got them built like that off eBay, but it turns out, you know what, the fist is actually kind of alright now in current 40k. Then we come to another part of Indomitus. These are the Outriders. These things are insane in close combat. The +1 to wound makes them a right monster. They get so many attacks. It's like 2 on the base, 1 on the charge, 1 on the sword, an extra 2 for charging, an extra 1/3 turn onwards from being Blood Angels. It's a lot of attacks. If you allow me to gush for one moment, these all dusted up with pigment powders to give them this like worn look. And the base is done with caulking. It's something I feel like I want to do a tutorial on because I'm really happy with how mine came out, but I want to get a bit more cork basing under my belt, as it were. But I really like how these came out. I'm actually focused on the bike and the base here because the guy on top isn't even painted that well, but look at that base. It looks like cracked asphalt and concrete. I love it. So then we've got 3 land speeders that I picked up because, well, when I was a kid, you couldn't have a Space Marine army without land speeders, and now they're not considered to be that good. Although I played them in a game and they got me engaged on all fronts, and when I equipped all 3 of them with multi-melters because I magnetize everything that I possibly can on vehicles, they end up being pretty good. So I don't think they're terrible. A Bald Predator, another unit in this army that I've only played once. An Annihilator Predator, whatever the autocannon variant is now. A Repulsor Executioner, which I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I like how it's weathered. The lighting is really making it like look very saturated, I think, but there's a lot of dust on there and stuff using pigment paints. Got the golden Forge World doors as well, because what can I say? I love going quite fucking deep. This Storm Raven is not painted by me. I got this secondhand. I love the anime green, like up to the glass. It doesn't really fit with the theme of the rest of my army. I started trying to do a glass window on here and gave up. But it's a cool model. I always wanted airplanes as a kid. It's pretty fun to stick some Terminators and like a contemporary Dreadnought on the bottom of it and just ram it into your opponent. It's got so many shots with the Hurricane Bolters, the multi-melters and the las cannons and the missiles. Still to base it though. I'm actually looking forward to savouring that. Like best till last sort of thing. Because I love basing, as you might be able to tell by the amount I'm obsessing over the basing here and the basing on the Lieutenant and stuff. I cannot wait to base that bad boy. Look, there you go. That's a threatening finger. I'm going to base the shit out of you. This was my first Forge World model that I bought. This is a Land Raider Helios. It's just a Land Raider kit with a resin turret stuck on the top of it and they charge you extra. I didn't realise that when I bought it. So mistakes were made in some ways. But I like having a Land Raider that can transport models to one side of the map and fire over cover without line of sight to the other. So also this comes off. So I've got it as a Land Raider Helios now, but it can just be a Land Raider. And I've got the turrets upstairs to have storm bolters and stuff added on top instead of suppressors that I will one day paint up. These are from the Vanguard box. Again, this is probably one of the other units that I haven't actually played in any game. My beloved Eliminators. I need to put some Lamia Medium on these shoulder pads to ungloss the finish of the transfers. Love me some Eliminators. Haven't really played many games without them, for God's sake. They're so powerful and so strong. I see people are now saying that Plasma Inceptors are better, but look, I've got a soft spot for the models that I've got, so fuck you, Plasma Inceptors, although I probably will pick some up. A Speed Painted Devastator Squad and a Drop Pod Devastator Squad has 3 las cannons and a bolter. I want to pick up some just like grav cannon bits to make up some grav cannon units. I kind of want to play some more in this very simplified style, which is just like real simplified. I don't know if you can see on the camera there, and I can't bother to focus on them too much. But I want to get a load of the options available to play them different ways. Drop them in the drop pod, put them in the Land Raider, perhaps in this really ugly Rhino. I really need to get a better looking Rhino. I've already talked about the Command Razorback. Let's talk about this chunk in the background. It looks so good as part of an army, doesn't it? The Hammerfall turret. People really hate the Hammerfall bunker, but I don't care. I think it looks cool and that's why I've got it. It's supposed to be weathered a little bit. Haven't had a chance to play with it. I only got it built just before lockdown started. Judicar over here, or Judiciary. We've got 2 squads of Terminators, 1 squad of normal Terminators in the back. These were once upon a time in the snow camo of the Snow Patrol over here, but now they are painted up red. I use contrast paint on top of the red after washing them, trying to get dark shadows on them. I don't really like how they came out, honestly. These are my Assault Terminators. I need to get another squad of these. Hopefully the Blood Angels and Signals really, so I've got 2 squads of them. Yeah, absolute beasts. I love deep striking in or drum packing in and then either fisting or fucking hammering the shit out of stuff. I love it. I've got more Terminators, they just aren't painted up yet. I do love me a Terminator. Then we come to the Scout Squad that were going to get painted up so I could have another cheap troop unit, and they became non-troop, and then Tactical Marines got the extra wound, and so on and so on and so on. Now Scouts are just fucking useless. Are these as dusty as they look on camera? They really are. I might just for fun paint these up as Death Company Scouts, just a thematic thing, because I never think they'll see play. We come to my Chaplain collection. This is 5 Chaplains here, 1 in Terminator armor, the game day one there. Got a Jetpack one, we've got the Ground Launch for my first Chaplain, and then we've got the Indomitus one, and then we've got the Primoris one. I just really like Chaplain models. I haven't played a huge amount with Chaplains, and also you might notice that Lamartes is missing, the Blood Angels one. I just haven't got one yet. It's one of those things I keep meaning to pick up and haven't. Asterath is the big bad Chaplain Massive Doom guy. I haven't played with him yet. I didn't really know who he was when I was a kid. He's not one of the ones I had as a kid, so I knew Dante and Tycho and Lamartes and stuff. So Asterath doesn't really get me excited for nostalgia reasons, and I have yet to play with him. That was was that an eBay pickup? I think that was an eBay pickup. I picked one up off eBay, soaked it in like stuff to get rid of the paint, and ended up melting it. There's a video of that on Instagram. Behind those Chaplains, you might see this ridiculously winged thing, which is a kit bash for a Death Company Smash Captain. He's there. I've got another Smash Daddy over here. Whether I ever film them again, I guess Smash Masters might be a thing, but we'll see once the new Blood Angels Codex that comes out, or whether Dante is now the equivalent of a Smash Captain. And then the best to last, the Death Company over here with their like fucking chain swords and Inferno pistols and stuff. I really like how I based these. These are all on parts of like a discarded Ultramarine Land Raider or Rhino. I say it was just a discarded Land Raider or Rhino off eBay for real cheap, but I then ripped it apart and like painted it blue and stuff and put the base as if they are all trudging over a formerly destroyed Ultramarine vehicle. Should have blued it up a bit more richer, but what can you do? I like the idea that the Blood Angels fucked up, failed, and then the Blood Angels come in with Death Company and try to fix the problems that the Ultramarines have created. And I've got 2 Death Company Dreads. One is a traditional block dread that is literally a Death Company Dread, and the second one is a Redemptor, but I've painted in Death Company colours. Really happy with how this came out. This is a custom build. This faceplate here, that is added on by me. I had to do a lot of sawing and shaving down to get that bad boy on. It's from this kit here, which also makes the Librarian Dread, which is over here. But that kit comes with a Death Company Blood Angel stuff, so I built the Librarian Dread out of it, took the faceplate, put on this bad boy, made some custom tarpaulin, got a little custom banner from a Stormcast set of some kind that I got off eBay. His Cyclone missile launchers fell off, but that is magnetised. There we go. And he is stamping on a Thousand Suns. Really happy with this base. I won't focus on this too much. He says as he pulls it around to have a closer look, but if you look in there, I've got some like water texture, and there's some oil, and there's some bloodied barbed wire. I'm just very happy with how this base came out. I think it's gorgeous. Could do with a bit of pigment powder to really dust it up and tell a bit of a story, but besides that, I'm in love with how this base came out, and I'm really happy with it. And then lastly, we have a slightly kit-bashed Master of the Forge using some Sanguinary Guard, bits of Blood Angels Regalia, and a normal Tech Marine's not finished up yet. These two, the Master of the Forge plus the normal Tech Marine, go together with a Dread Ball. Now, I've got a Venerable Dread there, which only become available to the Blood Angels. I actually built one and started the paint before I found out you couldn't play it. Now you can under the new codex. We've got our second Redemptor, and we've got two Contemptors. We've got one, which is an Iron Warriors Forge World Conversion. And we've got one which is the Blood Angels, like relic, like venerable Horus Heresy style design. I love both of them. I want to get a third Contemptor because it's one of my favourite models. I mentioned the Redemptor, didn't I? We've got the other Dreadnought there, and then we've got Leviathans. One unfinished and one that needs some more detailing, but I'll pick up a resin base for him. I love me some Dreadnoughts. Look at this bad boy. Look, how scary is this going to be with a Master of the Forge and a Contemptor. And imagine a Redemptor behind them too, just strolling up the board, pumping out a million shots, and you don't want to get into close combat with them because they will literally fuck you up. So that, my friends, is the army. If you have any questions or queries, don't forget to leave them in the comment section below. I'm always up for talking about Blood Angels, whether that be painting, building, collecting, buying, army list building, or playing. Talk to me. I fucking love me some Blood Angels. This angle doesn't really work for presenting. My lens is too wide. My kitchen is too small. Making content is hard. So I hope you've enjoyed the video and this outro isn't echoing too much as I'm on a portable mic on my camera and I am across a shitty kitchen. This was the army. I say army, more of a collection. We can't really field several thousand points of HQs, that's kind of fucking stupid. But if you enjoyed the video and you liked it, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content. I make a lot of Magic the Gathering and a little bit of Warhammer content too. Don't forget to think of me next time you're having a Timmy tickle, and I'll see you all soon. I was going to raise my arm then to wave, but I could have knocked this over and smashed a lot of shit. Ta-ta for now!